Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Don't forget, from now on, dislike means that you like my videos. I'm trying to be the most disliked channel on all of YouTube. Well, ever since I started my metal art projects, I've been wanting to make art out of all sorts of metals. The more exotic, the better. I made a small Buddha out of indium. I hope to do that again at some point. I hope to make one of the large ones out of indium at some point as well. And it's too bad that none of the somewhat radioactive elements are easy to work with. Right? Uranium has too high of a melting point. Same thing with thorium. The one thing that might work, this is neptunium. Obviously, I don't want to have a critical mass of it, but it has a melting point that's actually quite reachable for me. Where is the melting point? 639, just a little bit above the zinc, and I probably couldn't pour anything that requires a silicone mold, but the graphite molds definitely. It's just too bad that neptunium isn't really available commercially. Actually, it kind of is. See, if you have a smoke alarm in your home, it has americium-241, which decays into neptunium. And the other nice thing about neptunium is one of the more dangerous things about uranium. The reason you wouldn't want to keep a uranium Buddha in your home is that on the way down, it decays into radon, and which is a gas. And then when you breathe that in, that further decays, and then you got radioactive elements in your lungs. Same thing with thorium. Neptunium avoids that problem because it doesn't become radon at any point in its decay, right? And it ends in thallium. Well, technically, for the most part, it ends in bismuth, but it also bismuth is actually somewhat radioactive, very, very slightly radioactive. And there you have it. But you might need like a few million smoke detectors to. The older the smoke detector, the better, right? If you can get one that's already expired that somebody's about to toss out, let's see how many smoke detectors you would need. How much americium is there in a smoke detector? 0.9 microcuries. 1 gram of americium dioxide, which is pretty much all of americium because the dioxide part weighs so little. So every 5,000 smoke detectors will get you 1 gram of americium. But the problem is that it has a half-life of 400 some years, right? So in order to get 1 gram of neptunium, you probably need something like a million smoke detectors that you need to isolate it out. But given how often people replace smoke detectors, it's probably not hard to find expired smoke detectors, right? Maybe I should put out flyers offering to collect people's old smoke detectors. I don't know. I'd love to pour something out of neptunium, though. I really would. That's my ultimate challenge. Actually, my ultimate challenge, one day if I ever get to work with nuclear research, is to make a bismuth crystal out of one of the radioisotopes of bismuth. See if I can get it to glow. Or moscovium, right below bismuth, which would have more or less the same properties. But neptunium's not bad either. I can't wait. Things like that get me excited about becoming famous, so that one day I'll be asked to pour one of these out of neptunium, maybe plutonium. What's the melting point of americium? Maybe, although with a half-life of 241 years, I wouldn't want a big chunk of that anywhere near me. Of americium, it is, too high anyhow. And then there's I think neptunium is probably the safest bet, aside from uranium. I wouldn't want to keep uranium around, though, because it gives off radon gas. Though neptunium avoids that problem. Alright, if you'll send me 1,000 expired smoke detectors that you have at your house, I greatly appreciate that. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.